setting, it's not just curriculum. The curriculum is just a paper. Who is going to implement it? Even the implementation, what resources do we have to practicalize all the theoretical learning processes, right? So we need the resources, we need the implementers. Who is even going to teach that STEM? Our teachers ready to learn to be STEM teachers themselves so that they can facilitate the learning. So it's like
Now, the rate to which unemployment is becoming unbecoming in Ghana is actually drawing the attention of the government to bring up programs that will make people think critically. Is STEM the Messiah? Today, my guest is Joshua Opoku Agyemang. He's also known as the IoT Evangelist and is the president of Ghana STEM Networks, the co-founder and president of IoT Network Hub Africa. Josh was recognized by African Entrepreneurship Awards in 2018 as one of the entrepreneurs with the most significant and sustainable business idea in Africa. He was featured in the 50 Homegrown African Innovation Tackling COVID-19 by United Nations Development Program. Today, he has a whole lot for us to talk about. Uncle Josh. Permit me to call you Uncle Josh.
All right. Permission granted.
Okay, that's okay. Tell me about yourself.
Good morning,
Morning.
Priscilla and our viewers. I'm happy to be here, and it's a privilege to be invited to share our work and our vision with you, our audience, and on your network too as well. All right. So, as you already mentioned, my name is Joshua Opoku Agyemang, popularly known as the IoT Evangelist. My story is quite long. Let me see if I can summarize it. I grew up in a village called Kasapen, very far. It's somewhere around our region.
Okay.
So those who are probably old enough could remember a time where there was this man who wanted to arrest a computer for placing the daughter in a secondary school they didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that man was from my village. So growing up from that village, we didn't have access to electricity at a very young age. But I was fortunate to have access to a computer, which was powered with a generator.
Wow.
So that's first experience. It was very magical. I mean, you click a button, something happened. You press something, something happened. So the curiosity started coming up. Like, how is this thing really able to figure out all this stuff? What is in that box that make all this happening? So that's where my obsession started. Try to understand what is in that box and how I can build my future around the box. So that's the basis of my story. So I started following computers at the age of 7. My dad was a pastor and we had a computer at the church. So it gave me the opportunity to learn how to use it and operate during his ministry. So whenever he has to go somewhere to do evangelism, my dad too was evangelist.
At the age of 7.
Yes, I'll be the one who have to operate the computers when like we show cinemas like Jesus movies and all that. I have to be the engineer behind the machine, doing that for my dad. So that's where the interest started. After junior high school, it became so high that I learned how to fix it myself. I mean, we call it feature in chi. Like you need to think, learn.
Okay.
You open it, try to break stuff, try to fix stuff. So I use the same approach of trying all that to learn how to fix the computer. So at JSS, I was able to fix it. And when I got to senior high school, I wanted to do science.
Okay.
I actually did science, but when I got the science I was looking was science with ICT as a whole program I could do. But back in 2007, there wasn't a program like that. But I think now they have ICT as a program. So I did science, but then my interest was more in ICT. So I spent most of my 4 years in high school learning only ICT, even though I was supposed to do biology, physics, and chemistry, which was compulsory. So in my class, I would fail in all the 9 subjects except ICT, which I'll top the class. So nobody beat me in ICT, but biology, physics, I don't mind failing because that wasn't my interest. So this affected my academics, and I had to sign up for NOVDEC, which brought me to Sunyani. So from Kasapen, I moved to Sunyani to write NOVDEC. When I got to Sunyani there was a school I was doing my remedial classes, and I had opportunity to teach science to the upper primary. So in my teaching, I let them know that I do IT too. And the message got to the director. Director told me he has a number of old computer spots at one of the ICT labs. They couldn't get anybody to fix it. Can I fix it? I said I can fix it. He brought all the computers, and I was able to fix a number of them that was being used. After this bold task, he realized there's something in me, and I can't build a career if I had to stay in Sunyani. So he recommended I come to Accra. 2012 January, I came to Accra to learn programming for 9 months at Kofi ICT Center. I did the first 3 months and I did the other 6 months. After 9 months, I met my partner at the school. He also studied networking, Cisco. So we met, we started sharing ideas, and he was 5 years older than me, but then I was still 19. So he was like, let's start a company. So, oh yeah, I've been already thinking about doing that because I've been trying to fix computers and make money since I was probably 12. So we started our first company at the age of 19, called Personate.
Okay.
The little skills I acquired in school, I could build a website, I could build application. So we started with that. Then along the years, we started learning more skills and all that and all that. In 2016, we had opportunity to do something different,
Okay.
and that's where IoT Network Hub was born. In 2016, we decided to do beyond the usual IT stuff. Do the crazy IT stuff that happen in the world, the stuff we see on TV and the movies that excite us, but we think it's magic or some black magic or white magic, right? So we wanted to explore all this, and that's what gave birth to IoT Network Hub. Like, how do we learn all these crazy technologies that are happening in our world, and how can we use them to build something locally to solve our problems? And that's what it started. So today we have over 10,000. 10,000 is just a number I've been using for years. Probably should be 20 to 30,000 now, but I like to be realistic. So over 10,000 membership, including 10 countries in Africa. So we are in Kenya, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, Gambia, Nigeria, among others.
How did
Right.
you get all these? Like, how were you able to bring everyone on board?
Sorry. So I think when we started in Ghana, one thing we have been consistent doing is showing up. Every month we show up to learn together. So the whole concept of a group of people or young people come together every month to learn new things that can't be learned in the classroom. Because you can't learn AI in any of the universities today. You can't learn IoT. You can't learn 3D printing. So these new technologies that are coming that are creating more jobs and taking away all the old jobs. You can't have the skills from the classroom at the moment. So we thought if we could create an environment where students can come and learn things they can learn from the classroom, it will be interesting. So that same interest, we meet, we take pictures, we share on our social media. Then one thing that opened us up to Africa, we didn't talk of Africa, was that in 2018, we were there and somebody reached out from Internet Society. It's a global organization pushing the internet adoption. And they reached out to us looking for anybody in Ghana who had built IoT projects. Fortunately for us, we had built some smart home solution. So that gave us opportunity to go to Kenya to talk about innovation. And after we finished talking about it, the people were like, wow, we need to have a chapter in Kenya. So that's where we had our second chapter, the Kenya chapter. And that's where I saw possibility of expanding to Africa. So after Kenya, then a friend too who has been in Ghana from Gambia saw the need to take it to their country. Then we had Gambia on board. So gradually we saw the need to know this can't be just for Ghana. It has to be for the continent. That's why we started growing from there. And the next 5 years we should be in other African countries. That's our plan now.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it will definitely come to
Yeah.
pass.
So in a nutshell, I think that's everything. Not everything, but that's a bit of a mean. So as a question come, I'll be able to tell you more about the things we do and myself. Yeah.
Sure. Wow, you have such an interesting story.
Yeah, it
And
is.
what I think I took from the story you just shared is the fact that your dad was able to identify that side of you and kind of pushed you. Some parents wouldn't.
It was a challenge. It wasn't as
Really?
it is.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my parents didn't understand what I was doing. They
Okay.
thought I was wasting my time
Mm.
because they were more from the academia angle where they are teachers and pastors and they taught for so many. And in the generation they are, they didn't see any job where you have to stay on computer for all your life, calling it work. right? So their work is you need to wake up, rest, go to the workplace, work and come home. But that's in what I also was looking at. So it becomes a challenge. That's how come my BSc performance was poor. They didn't like it. They weren't happy with that. And I went to SS2. It became terrible, like really worse. It wasn't like I was dumb. I was very smart. But then because I I focus all my energy on ICT, it affected all the other subjects. And you know, in a country, if you don't pass all your subjects, you don't get to go to the next school. Irrespective of how brilliant or talented you are, the system doesn't care about you,
And
right?
what no, okay, you have been there, you've seen how that affected you. Have you been to tertiary?
Not yet. I don't know if I will ever be there, but hopefully someday I will think about it.
I know.
Right now, I have a lot of problems to think about, and going to school is not one of the problems.
Wow. So if you've been to tertiary, you're just turning things around.
Well, for
How
me,
were you able to do that?
well, so I think what I can say is that we need to redefine the purpose of school,
Okay.
right? You don't go to school because you think you have to go to school. You need to go to school because you know that when I go to school, I'll get some knowledge I can get anywhere. I mean, why do we go to school? You go to school so that you can get some knowledge or skills, hoping that after school you can use that to work. It doesn't mean that not going to school, you can get the same knowledge. You can acquire the skills and it can't work. Right. So for me, I think I'm happy the system was in that way that it's sort of frustrated me that it didn't allow me access to the to pass through the system. So it pushed me to look for alternative way to still do what I want to do without the school. And that's why I like Kofi Annan. So Kofi Annan didn't ask about your academic background, your qualification, and all that. They just asked you what program do you want to do, what are your interests, then you pick what you want to do. Then they have the fundamentals. If you do the requirements and you pass it, you get opportunity to do the advance. So I like the whole system over there that allows you to do what you want to do, not what the system wants you to do. Right. So, and I think our space, the tech space, is more practical than academia. I mean, if I had also gone into academia, that means I have to go through the ladder. But if you're in a system or environment where what is required is a skill, what you can do, the problems you can solve, the solution you can build. Uh, School or certification is the least of your trouble.
Don't you think there is a need for government to actually have a rethink of most of the subjects we study in school?
Well, I think we have to restructure the entire educational system, not just government, like
Okay.
all the educational system. I think it's a very old system that was invented for a purpose which do not exist anymore. If you look at the history of why school came into being, it was because of the first industrial revolution. Before the first industrial revolution, our forefathers were hunters and agriculturalists. You don't need to go to school to learn how to grow a maize, right? Or even weed, because you don't learn that from the classroom. You go to the farm, you join the parents, you learn from them, you adopt it. But then when we had the first industrial revolution, we have some technologies that we invented, including the steam engine. So the steam engine is what helps us to build ships and railway and then the trains. So when all these technologies were invented, we needed to train people to learn how to manufacture steel, to learn how to build railways, to learn how to build the trains, to build a ship, to build a harbor, to do supply chain. And that's why school was invented. So that was a place where you can move from the farm to go get some knowledge to be able to work in these new industries. And the setting that school was set up for that. That's the same kind of system we have in our part of the world. I think a lot are changing though. I wouldn't say it's that bad, but then we need to have more practical experimental learning. And that's why I believe STEM could be the gateway to be able to unlock the talent and creativity and then the mental powers of the younger generation so that they'll be able to create create more solutions, solve more problems, create more jobs. It doesn't become a government's burden.
So now back to STEM.
Right.
What is STEM all about? Everywhere STEM, STEM, STEM. Somebody even thinks STEM is ABIA, STEM and me.
Oh yeah. Right. So I think it's not like I think it's what it is, right?
Okay.
So STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And this has been there for a very long time. And today we are not just really looking at STEM. Today we have an upgrade version of STEM called STEAM. We've added A, and the A stands for arts, right? Some school of thought are even looking at adding innovation and entrepreneurship. So STEAM, right? So it's a developmental processes because we've realized that the usual way of learning or the traditional way of learning, where you go to chill and you pour and you get your certification, only ends at the classroom. You can't take that sort of learning processes to the new industries of today because the world is challenged with so many problems that we're dealing with unemployment, we're dealing with climate change, we're dealing with economic crisis, we're dealing with COVID-19. We're still dealing with COVID-19 though. China is still under lockdown, right? And we're dealing with Ukraine and Russia war, which is affecting almost every world part of the world today. So the challenges we're facing in our world today are very vocal. So VUCA, V stand for volatile, right? U stand for ambiguous. No, sorry, U stand for uncertainty, and then C stand for complex. A stand for ambiguous. So it means that we are living in a world where things are changing really fast. Everything becoming complex. Everything you can't predict the future. It's uncertain, and it's so big to comprehend, right? So if you don't train the youths or the younger generation how they can be able to use their mental powers to deal with the challenges we face today, and we just tell them to chill, pour, get your A's and get your first class, I'm not sure where they're going to survive. Like which kind of world they're going to live with that sort of mental mindset or mental models, right? So that's why STEM education is very, very important. Yeah.
So Ghana is having a plethora of issues, plethora of problems here and there. We have so many challenges that needs to actually be resolved. Do you think STEM is the messiah?
Well, I think yeah, STEM. I just don't want to limit to STEM. STEAM. STEAM is the gateway to
Okay.
unlocking Africa and Ghana's future. The reason being that if you engage young ones in STEM or STEAM education, one, they acquire problem solving skills, they acquire critical thinking skills, they learn how to work together in teamwork, they learn collaboration. You can't do anything today if you're not collaborative because you can't fix all the problem alone. You don't have all the strengths too in the world. You have a weakness. You need for somebody who have your strengths so that you can complement each other. Together you can do a lot. So communication, leadership and all that. Once you engage a student in STEM education, they're able to build these skills unconsciously while they're learning. So for instance, what happens when you give a toy to a kid? No, it's very exciting trying to figure it out. That's learning. Try to figure things. It's helping develop the brain. They are building creativity. They are finding ways to think outside the box or find ways to do things. They're learning innovation. So if you can make our education and learning that experimental, that practical, then learning become excited. Now students don't want to go home because they enjoy learning. We have instances where we engage students in STEM training and they don't want to go home. They don't even want to eat. Go to university lectures. They are waiting that lectures will leave so that they go. Some don't even want to come. Why? Because the learning is boring. It's not interesting. It's not engaging. So if we can change our system, which I think government is working on that, there's a new STEM curriculum coming up very soon. That we're hoping that when it comes out, it's going to help remodel the mindset of the young ones so that they can have all these skills. Yeah.
So how can we promote a sustainable STEAM or STEM education,
Well, promotion is a lot of
especially in Ghana
it
here?
is a lot of work to be done because if you look at the STEM setting, it's not just curriculum. The curriculum is just a paper. Who is going to implement it? Even the implementation, what resources do we have to practicalize all the theoretical learning processes, right? So we need the resources, we need the implementers who is even going to teach that STEM. Our teachers ready to learn to be STEM teachers themselves so that they can facilitate the learning. So it's like we need to sort of reform the entire educational system. All teachers need to be STEM driven. They need to have the STEM mindset. They need to understand why STEM and should be ready to themselves to be practicing STEM themselves because if you can't practice STEM, you can teach STEM. It should be a lifestyle. So these are the challenges I foresee that if we can deal with all these challenges, then we can promote a sustainable STEM or education. And the challenges I foresee are resources. If we don't build our own resources, we have to import resources. And when you're importing all the things that we have to learn, it's not helping the economy, because that could also be a company or employment opportunity for the young youth in Ghana to produce STEM materials, either from e-waste or from any other processes. Growing up in the village, we used to use milk tin, Milo tin, to craft and build cars. That was STEM, but we didn't know what it was. We thought we were playing. But all these learning processes, it helps you to be creative, it helps you to be problem solving. So you see, we're in a world where we make decisions every day. Everybody makes decisions. What to eat, where to go, what to do, and all that. And imagine if you don't have the ability to think. How do you make decisions? You make bad decisions every day. And when you make bad decisions every day, you're living a bad life. So you have a bad future. You literally have no future. Because all your decisions that is going to help you build a better future are all bad. Because you're not thinking about your problem. You're not finding ways to address. You're not being innovative. You're not being creative. So you just make just your decision and you go. So it's a very big challenge for Ghana and Africa and probably some parts of the world. But the developed countries, I think they are already set for the fourth industrial revolution. Yeah.
But talking of resources, how did you get the resource to build this? And by the way, he built this by himself and maybe probably with his team. Where did you get the material?
Right. So point of correction.
Okay.
This wasn't built, it was printed. Yeah. So this was printed from a 3D printer. And these are one of the major technologies when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution or the emerging technologies. So today we have 3D printers for education where kids can now learn those, kids are always creative. Everybody was born creative, but along the way we lost our creative power. This is going to help them reinforce their creativity where they can design anything on the computer and then print the object out.
Wow.
So this way also printed out. This is a holder for offices where you can keep your cards, your pen drives, so that your office will be well organized all in one. Right. So all this were printed. So there are a lot of technologies out there. 3D printing is one of the technologies. Today it's being used to print plastic objects. It can be used to print food. It can be used to print in the medical. Yes, we'll get there. In the medical space, you can print bones. Assuming somebody had a fracture and the bones are broken, there's no way to replace a bone with someone's bone. You can print the same model of the bone to fit the person.
What is happening in the studios?
So there's a lot of crazy things happening that if we don't learn all these technologies, we won't be able to solve all the problems we're facing. And all these technologies are providing opportunities, job opportunities, employment opportunities, opportunity to also create new industries. Because if you own a printing press of 3D printing, that means you can literally print anything for anyone, right?
Wow.
So these are some of the opportunities that are out there that if we can think to solve problem and all that, we won't be able to utilize the power of these technologies.
But where did you get the materials?
Okay, so the 3D printer is a device that mostly are imported. We can build some here locally. We have teams that can build some locally.
Okay.
But however, the materials still have to be imported because we don't manufacture all these parts here in Ghana. The 3D printer also uses what we call filaments. Just as a printer uses ink for printing and toners for printing, the 3D printer uses filament and resin. So this was a 3D printed with filaments. The filaments are plastic coil wires that melt to print it layer by layer by layer.
So I can see.
Yes, that's some of the fragments of the printing
So
around.
left this so that you can.
Oh no, it's a fresh print. We just printed last night because of the program, so that we could show. So this is a phone stand. You can put your phone on it. So assuming you're in a very long Zoom meeting and calls and that, you hold the phone, you get so tired, your camera start flying all over the place. You can just put it on a stand and then have your Zoom call or your video calls and all that. So this is one of the applications. And see, for you to be able to see or realize that there's a problem with holding your phone for calls and you need to find a solution, it's the same potentials of STEM. If you have the STEM mindset, you're always thinking about this, I'm suffering, how can I find a solution? Then you look at the technologies around, what can I use to create something to solve the problem? then you have a solution. And when you have a solution, you realize that thousands of people face the same problem. Can you solve the solution to them? Now you have your business. You get it? So that's how the learning process with STEM can help reshape the mind to solve problems that will lead to creating companies to employ people and reduce unemployment. So yes, STEM or STEAM is a gateway to our youth unemployment in the country. Yeah.
When it comes to the knowledge gap, Ghana and other African countries, is it that huge when it comes to the STEAM education or the STEM education?
Well, so I think there are some countries who had already taken the leap when it comes to some of these things. I think Ghana was our forefathers built our country to be excellent when it comes to education. So we're known for excellence. But I
Is it
think
like paper excellence?
along the line we are losing our excellencies. So countries like Rwanda,
Yeah.
South Africa, Kenya, Uganda. So there are a number of African countries who are really doing a lot in this space. But I think Ghana, we are not that behind. I think we are also doing quite a lot. Just that we need to own this. Like we should be the frontier because we are the gateway to Africa. So we should anything good that comes to Africa has to be Ghana leading the pack. And I'm hoping that we'll win the battle. I mean, we're still in the race, but we should win the battle to be the gateway for all these things that are happening on the continent. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the margin between people living in the rural areas and people living in the urban areas. Over the time in the news, you could even hear that some people don't even have desks to even sit on. Some they've not even seen the computer before. Some are using stones as mouse and all that.
That's right.
How would we be able to create a sustainable STEM with all these challenges?
Good. I like the way you brought all this. No, these are all problems, right? Or challenges. And one thing I know about challenges or problems are they are opportunities in disguise. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they are challenge. Can we find solutions to them? Maybe all the waste we have in the country at Agbogbloshi and that, I mean, we're known to be the country with the most populated e-waste on the continent or probably in the world. Can we convert them into learning materials for these people? It's innovation. So I think it's a matter of leadership and the youths or the people coming together to look at these are the problems we are facing in this part of our country. What can we do for them? These are materials that are even creating harms on the environment. Can we find ways to recycle some of the waste into artifacts to help them learn, which will be at a zero or minimal cost? These are innovation. And if we don't have people who can think, we can't do some of these things. We can't solve the problem. That becomes a burden to government. I don't think government can fix all our problems. I mean, they're not meant to fix our problems. Government is meant to provide basic needs for us. Then we can build on them, like the basic infrastructure, like the road, the water, and all that, electricity, and all that, so that we can be able to build the country based on the basic infrastructures we have. So I think it's a matter of the people trying to, you know,
You know,
use their mind. Yeah.
we're using the mind. We are looking for people who are generational thinkers,
Yeah.
who are innovators and all. How do we get these people with the kind of environment we find ourselves in?
Remember where I mentioned I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Very far.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot of people too, like my type, or even better than me, out there who have a very good mind. But the problem is the system choked them, brainwashed them. So there are a lot of people who are very talented, very smart, but the time they go through all the system they are out, they're already frustrated. They've lost all their creative and innovative powers. So I think we need to create an environment where people with gifts, because there's a reason why they have the gifts. God gave them the gift for a purpose. But if you don't have an environment where people can find their purpose and use their gifts and talent to serve that purpose, then we can't make the best out of the people. So I think what we're trying to do at IoT Network Hub is to bring all people like my kind, people who want to know who they are, see what kind of potentials they have, so that we can come together identify our individual gifts and then use them to serve a greater cause bigger than ourselves. And that's what IoT is all about. And we're looking at the African wide, right? So imagine 10, 20 years to come. We have like 100,000 people, not of my kind. My kind, I'm still building, so I haven't gotten to where I have to get to. Like people with very good brains that can literally solve any problem in the continent, all coming together to solve African problem. We wouldn't have much problems. It will be paradise. It will be heaven on earth, right? So I think it's a matter of, as you said, we need to get a lot of thoughtful leadership and generational thinkers who can come together to look at the future for our continent and how best we can prepare the younger generation towards that. And again, leadership is very critical in this role. If we don't have a good leadership, I mean, the Bible said, lack of vision, and people perish, right? So we need to have good leadership with good vision that people can believe in and want to be part of it to make it happening. Yeah, we'll get there.
I think Ghana is actually noted for we applaud people who are able to chew and pour, learn, read, pass, and forget those kind of students, and we rather ignore people who
Yeah.
can do something weird. When I say weird, I mean weird in class and all. What signal would you send to our teachers, especially, to stop calling people dumb, blockheaded, and all that?
So I think it's an issue with education, right? The fact that you're a teacher doesn't mean you're educated,
Wow.
and the fact that you're also very good at books doesn't make you educated. And even if you look at the 21st century illiterates, if somebody is being called illiterate in the 21st century, it's not somebody who cannot read and write, somebody who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. If you can't do these three, no matter how smart you think you are, you can chew all the book and pour. You are illiterate in the 21st century. So I think it's a matter of, you see, that's why I like the STEM again. Because in the STEM setting or STEAM setting, the teacher is not teaching. The teacher is facilitating the learning processes. So the teacher is learning with the students. We're all students in the STEAM environment. There's no teacher, there's no students.
Oh wow.
It's an environment you're all learning. Because that's where you get to learn a lot from the students. Because they're going to do things that you can't even figure out how to do it. And that's where creativity set in. Now you get to, oh, okay, so I could have done this way. I didn't know. You learn from the students. So you're also learning. So the STEM is, I think, is the only way out to be able to do that. And if there's a STEM setting, there's no way you call somebody dumb or smart. Because it's practical. It's not a matter of finishing it fast or chewing and pouring. Because it's more collaborative. If you're smart and I'm not, I'm going to learn from you. You're going to teach me to do the thing we're all doing together. It's a teamwork. So you don't get to mark somebody smart or dumb in STEM setting because you collaborate, you communicate, you do together. And that's what is going to help those who feel like I'm not book smart, but I'm hand smart, right? Then we all come together, learn together, then we become a very good team. So I think, yes, with STEM setting, we're not going to have some of this incident happening. And I've also have a lot of experience with that. I remember in high school, I missed a number of classes, and someday one of my teacher came to the dormitory. I was in my boxes. He called me out to the public and lashed me on my back just to disgrace me for not coming to class. The following morning, I didn't set up a class again. So you see, it's also part of the things you said. There was also a time in school. No, well, so I was a stubborn optimist. Right, stubborn optimist, meaning I was passionate about something people didn't understand, and nobody was going to stop me from the things that I was passionate about. So I was stubborn to the things I was passionate about. I remember in high school there was a problem. We needed a place to iron our clothing in the dormitory, which is not allowed, but you can do that from the dining hall, and the dining hall was busy. So I saw some wire on the on the ceiling. I peeled off the wire, connected an extension board. We did the iron, charge our phone and all that. It wasn't legal, right? But we did all that. To me, it was a problem we had to fix, and I solved it. But to the authorities, it was insubordinate. So I nearly get expelled from the dormitory to be a day student. The only thing that saved me was the fact I was very, very small. So Like it was also they sympathized with me that this guy is too small to be
Tiny.
sacked to go to the day student. Yeah, so that's what saved me. But now that I appreciate all the things I did, people didn't understand. But today when they see me on TV and all that, they be like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So now we knew this guy was going to be great or something. But honestly, they didn't. Yeah, it
What are
happens.
your parents saying now?
Well, unfortunately, I lost my dad 6 years ago, 2016. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Sorry.
But my mom was the one who thought I disobey her a lot. Today she had understood why I have to do what I have to do. I didn't also understand why I was doing it. I just felt like what they want me to do is not what I like, and I don't want to put myself in something I don't like. Right. So I was stubborn to what I like to do. But today she's always proud that yeah. And you know the good thing that had happened.
Mhm.
We didn't know we would lose our dad 6 years ago. And at that time, my junior brother was going to university. He was not getting to the university. My junior sister was also at a senior high school. My dad was supporting with my mom. I mean, I was just fresh, trying to figure out my life. But then, all of a sudden, I had to take all this responsibility to be a man, to take care of my two siblings, one in university, one in senior high school, and support my mom.
Are you the
Right?
firstborn?
Yes, I'm the firstborn. So that mandate that came, I mean, I was already prepared for life. I was already on my entrepreneur journey, trying to make some small money. So I was able to take that responsibility and support them. Today, my junior brother is out of university. He's now pursuing medicine, right? The junior sister too is in level 300, very soon she'll be out. If I hadn't made all these tough decisions that they didn't understood, maybe I'll be a people teacher in one village, and when it's time to get school fees, I wouldn't have for them. So life is complex, and our parents don't know all that it's about life. Like they haven't even figured out their life. Me, I always look at my parents, look at where they are. I ask my, is that who I also want to be? If it's not, there's no need. I have to do whatever you want me to do. I have to do what I have to do. So I think finding a purpose is very critical, and I'm happy I found mine earlier, like my passion, found my passion earlier, pursuing it. Now I think I am on my purpose now. Right.
I see. You know, your story, I think parents who will be watching us have maybe children with the same or even worse.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want
heard
to
that
say
story.
stubborn, but
It happens.
more recalcitrant. Children at home, not recalcitrant, but children with serious creativity. They do things that parents are like,
I don't
no,
understand.
no,
Yeah.
do this, don't do this.
Like they buy the new tape, the kid will break it down apart
Break
and
it
try
down
to.
and tear the wires.
I know, right?
Try to
And they will be saying the kid is stubborn. You see, we are not trying to understand what our kid is trying to do. I think it happens to me too. I get punished a lot. That's why probably think I'm a stubborn. I think parents should get time to understand their kids and not force them based on what society expects from them. Some parents they want their kids to be in university because they can also say that, oh, Mr. Omeba have been to university some, right? This thing doesn't matter. What's the point of pushing your kid into something that in the future is not going to help them, going to cause trouble to them, right? So I think, and you see, the sad thing is that we are in what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where all these technologies we have here are taking away a lot of jobs away. Look at mobile money. Look at what it's doing to the banking and financial industries, right? These are technology that are disrupting industries, taking away all the old traditional systems and businesses and work. And that's all what our parents know. Our parents know that the good job is the doctor, the lawyer, the banker, and all that. That's what they know. And it's okay, because that's what their generation were what we call work. In our generation, it's no more like that. So you can't force your kid to be what you did because you want the kid to inherit your success you or something, right? Or you can't force a kid to do particular program because you want to be proud that you've seen your kid becoming this. I think it should be more of understanding what the kids are really good at doing and how best can we help them and push them to do what the kid is already happy doing it. And that's the only way will not have a lot of unemployment at the end of the day. Because I push you to do something you're not good at. There's no way you like to work in that industry. So you go to the school for me. After 4 years, you come and sit home. Because that's what I asked for you to do. Go to school for me, get me my certificate, come and sit home.
How?
And that's what is happening.
You know, looking at our vocational schools, they are not really giving the kind of respect they are supposed to be. That's how I see it. If it was, to me, they are the people that I think we should also invest in. One way or the other, they are also solving problems and all that. It's like the kind of prestige they are to be given. They are not given that kind of accord
I get
by
it.
the government and all. What signal will you send to the
So I
government?
think some years ago, vocational TVET and all that were perceived to be the program for the dumb people. So if you're not good enough or smart enough, or you fail all your exams, then
Then you are
that's the
out
gateway
there.
for you, right? But I think that era is past now because of the STEM and STEAM. Now all the programs of training that are practical, that are skills oriented, are what is ruling the world today. Just that we need to make sure we upgrade our vocational skills into the digital platforms so that it doesn't become the regular carpentry, but become the digital way of doing all your designs and dimension with the computer so that you don't have to use your manual effort to do the cutting, but use the digital tools and the system and machines to do the cutting. So assuming I go to learn carpentry
Okay.
and I have a contract to deliver 1 million chairs, how do I deliver? I won't be able to because I have to manually do all this. But assuming you have your design on computers, you have your pieces and dimension, you can get the supplier, do this cutting number of pieces for me. This supplier, do this cutting for me. This is shape for me. At the end of the day, you can get outsource some processes of your work for manufacturers to do the pieces for you. Then you hire people to assemble it. That's innovation. So how do we upgrade our technical and vocational programs to innovation and technology in their business? If we can add that, that would also be a game changer. That means everybody who goes to vocational is already empowered to be an entrepreneur. Because the skills they have, they just have to start building their business and recruit more people. So government is doing a lot in that space recently with the launching of the Ghana TVET Secretariat under the Ministry of Education. But we're here to see how the impact is going to look like. As I said, doing TVET alone without adding some digitization or technologies and innovation and entrepreneurship to it is still not make it complete. They should be empowered that after the school, I have enough of practical skills. I'm not looking for work. I am the boss. I should be able to start something because you have the skills, you probably have the tools. Why do you have to wait for work? You get it? If not, they all go to the vocation again and they'll come and sit home waiting for somebody to give them job when you have all the skills, all the knowledge to do something. So entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology is very critical when it comes to vocation and TVET. I don't know how government is going to fuse into it, but if we don't do that, another day we'll still come back to the old vocational perception where you go, you finish, you go and sit home looking for someone to give you a job. Yeah.
Wow. You know, girls are noted for reading subjects and reading courses and all. What are you going to? Well, what is STEM having for us?
Unfortunately, there's a challenge with the future of work and then the portion females are doing. It's very limited, like very small. That means that there's also opportunity for more females to get into STEM because the demand for the hunger to get more female engineers in STEM, scientists, technologists, mathematicians is so going high and high. And there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of scholarship. Like every day you see programs and it's only for females. Every day you see programs and the guys are even getting annoyed of late because all the opportunities are going to the female. So I think it's a time for every female, whether young or old, to start looking at changing the mindset first that STEM is not a hard thing. I mean, women are the most genius when it comes to STEM. Your cooking is STEM. Your washing, every activities a woman would do is STEM. There's nothing like reading and everything, all the household activities, everything is practical. You learn how to do all these are all STEM. So I think it shouldn't be seen that oh it's just for the guys. How come a kitchen can be for a woman and then the same setting in a different industry can be for female? The same practical things you do in a setting at home is the same practical, just that the environment has changed. Now it's an industry with the same practical things. I think as a mindset we need to look at that it's fun and it's interesting and ladies like it because you can emotionalize how interesting it gets and you want to do more and all that. Yeah. I think we should encourage more females to get into the STEAM space. But there are a lot of
Okay,
opportunities for them.
so finally, before we wrap up, what is the future of STEM education?
Well, so for me, I think if you look at the future of work, a report from the World Economic Forum says that by 2025, which is 3 years from now, we're going to have 85 million job loss globally. And the same forces that are taking away 85 million jobs are also creating 97 million new jobs.
Wow.
These new jobs require skills we don't have. So that's the future of STEM. If you're able to start to build a capacity in STEM, that means all the new industries. This, as I mentioned, the technology behind this is now used in construction. Now, houses are being printed in 24 hours. So that means the construction industries, if you don't start learning STEM to use technology in their work, very soon one contractor will import a 3D printer for homes and then take away all the jobs away. Or some Chinese company will come and settle here in Ghana and then take all our jobs. So we really need to start looking at how we can embrace them because it's the future. Another quote from the report says that 65% of students in primary school today, the kind of jobs they will do when they graduate from university are yet to be created. So how do you prepare students for a job which do not yet exist and a future which are yet to be created? That's why STEM has become the driver. And if we're able to build capacity now, I believe Ghana will be set and our continent will be ready for the fourth industrial revolution. And we feel what we see is just a tip of an iceberg. The economic crisis, the unemployment. It's just because the time is coming, all cars are going to be driven by AI, no drivers. All our homes are going to be smart. All our cities are connected. Like, all right, let me rest here. So we really need to look at it.
Hey, this is so serious.
Okay.
This is so, you have something you have to illustrate.
Yes.
Did you build this yourself?
Yeah, so it's one of the projects we worked on,
Okay.
and it's a smart home. So this project we started during Doomsaw era,
Okay.
where we wanted to build a system that could tell us when there's light in the office, so we can come to the office and when there's light at home, and it developed into this innovation. So this one we have here kindly allows you to control your home with your phone. So assuming you were in hurry for this interview session, so you forgot to turn off your iron, you left your AC on, your TV is on, your lights are all on because you were rushing to get here. The whole day is going to stay on, and when you go home, you have bills to pay. This system allows you to monitor and see that, oh, I left my light on, I left my AC on, I left this on. You pick your phone, the apps show you all that. You tap on a button, you turn them off. You don't have to go back after the interview, go and turn them off, and then drive back again to the workplace again, right? That's what it's basically help you achieve. It can also tell you your consumption, how much your light consume in a month, your fridge, and all that. So you know how to budget.
Can you have us with the illustration?
Yes, please.
This is so beautiful, and yeah, come to have an illustration. So you build this
So
completely.
we have a device here. Sorry.
Okay.
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 My network is off. Let me.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Do you have your hotspot? Alright. So it's connected to a Wi-Fi
Okay.
in the home.
Okay.
So wherever you are in the world, even if you travel outside or wherever you find yourself, you'll be able to use your phone to control it. Let me try and do a demo for you to see.
Okay. So we are here with the tech giant, and we are going to have a demonstration by one of the things they have built. And it's interesting how we have all these people here. Oh, wow.
See the light just come on. So on the app, I tap on a button here.
Okay.
The light goes off.
Wow.
And you can do this from wherever you are. Even if you travel, there are some people who, when they travel, they have to hire a security person. And all what the person do is in the evening they turn on the lights, in the morning they turn it off. That's their work. How should human beings be doing this? You see. So now all these technologies are going to make some of this work redundant. If you look at filling station, if you go to the States, all filling stations are self-service. Very soon, it's going to be robots serving you, right?
Wow.
It's happening in China, restaurants and all that have robots serving people. So the jobs, the little jobs we have, they are going to be taken away. That's why we need to learn all these STEM programs and skills so that we can be able to empower ourselves to build these technologies to do some of these boring works. We have a center. We're setting up an innovation center. It's around Circle. Very soon, next month, we're going to start opening up.
Wow.
People can come in and then check out the place. We'll be running programs on all this so that we can help empower the younger generation. We also have remedial classes for people like my type who failed their SSC and still want to give it a try again.
Okay.
My parents wanted me to give it a try, but I didn't want to give it a try. I wanted to figure a different way out. But anyone who wants to give it a try, we are setting up ICT center as part of remedial classes where you come there, you do past questions and all that. You solve yourself. So you're going to learn yourself and have access to STEM training that will help you to rethink and be able to pass your exams.
Wow.
Learning is a secret. If we teach you how to learn, you can learn anything for yourself. But when we feed you what to learn, you always need to be fed before you learn. So we want to teach all those who failed for whatever reason how to learn so they can learn to pass better, and then when they get to tertiary they can be able to learn without necessarily waiting for lectures. So our center is opposite Paroma Hotel, Circle Ring Road.
Okay.
Yeah, when you come there, our team are there and they'll be ready to support you.
Do you have any contact or any social media?
All right, so sorry,
That's okay.
we are on all the social platforms. IoT Tech Hub. So when you go to Facebook or wherever you go, you can always reach out to us. And we are also on WhatsApp. So the WhatsApp number is 054 888 054 888 9998. So 888 9998. It's active on WhatsApp. If you want to take your remedial classes or learn any STEM skills, either robotics, 3D printing, AI, coding, whatever you want to learn, as far as it's technology, just WhatsApp us on 054 888 9998 and we're ready to help you become a genius.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
You can give it a try yourself so that it doesn't feel like I have been using witchcraft to control it.
Okay, so this is it's an app.
Yes, there's an app.
Okay, so it's an app.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to put this light on.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, to come. Okay, good.
Wow, the light just came.
Yes, you saw there's a green.
Oh, okay.
It indicates that the light is on.
Oh,
You can scroll up. You realize that there's a reading on the currents. How much is consuming? You scroll down. Good, good. That's a reading
wow.
of the voltage. Yeah, the voltage, and there's one down there. That's a current. Good. So when you go down, that's a current. So current tells you the power consumption.
Okay.
So you can know how much your fridge consumes in a month, your light consume and all that. So that you know that if you're paying 50 cedis a month, 20% of the money goes to electricity. This goes to your fridge and all that. It helps you budget every month. And at times too, you might buy a device. When you bought it earlier, it might not be consuming, but after 6 months, you probably be buying more power. It could also be a fault.
Okay.
That a device had a fault. That's why it's over consuming. That also help you call the attention of a repair or service to check it out for you to save you more energy. So the whole concept of this is convenient energy utilization and then saving you cost.
Wow.
And it's available for homes and offices, schools, everywhere.
So you built this from the scratch?
Yes. So that's a device down there. It's called the IoT device. It's also part of the things we do. So the device connect to the internet and wherever you are able to control it. And it's not just for your lights. Anything. It could be your pump. When water pumps get full, it's overflow and then you can also control your pump. Control literally any switch in the home from your phone.
Ghana.
We'll get there.
In fact, I must say that this is super fantastic. This is amazing. This is beautiful to behold.
Right.
I am so glad that you made it to my studio.
It's a pleasure. I'm also happy you gave us the opportunity to come and share with you.
Ah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on Broad Daylight. I am super, 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 super grateful. In fact, you are too much. You are too. This is a national,
Yeah.
in fact, an international asset.
There's a quote
Mm-hmm.
by, I think, Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
Einstein is known to be one of the greatest scientists. He said he was fortunate to have been standing on the shoulders of giants. So I also have a lot of giants in the community we work with, very smart one. I would say we have the best minds in the country
Wow.
in our network. That whatever problem that a company, individual, or government want to solve, you can try us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes, they can try us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am so grateful for coming on Broad Daylight. You are a genius. I would like to your team and yourself. You guys are doing awesome. And I remember I used to use clay to build a building plan, but I don't know where all those things
I
went.
know, right?
I have to come to the class
We need to get them back,
to
you know.
revive them back.
Yeah.
You are doing amazing.
Thank you.
You are so good.
Don't worry, we have more. So when you come to our lab,
I
you
would
see more
have to
magic.
come
Yeah,
there because
you should.
oh, I'm so grateful.
My
I'm
pleasure.
so grateful for you to come, for you coming on the show. Viewers, you know that on Broad Daylight we bring you nothing but the best of everything, irrespective of the field that we find ourselves today. It was a tech genius that we had in the studio. He goes by the name Joshua Opoku Agyemang. In fact, if you can see all these things that he's been able to do, you can put your pen here, you can put a man, let's take a market, you can put it here.
Yeah,
And then
I'm back for that.
another one, a phone case.
Yeah, a phone holder.
A phone holder.
Yeah, to hold your
Zoom
phone.
meeting.
Yeah.
They sit table.
And now Snap Live,
Snap.
IG Live,
And no.
That's right.
That TikTok phone.
That's right.
You can put it on it. It's so easy. He's actually using his intellect to solving problems. These are the kind of people that I always advocate for anytime that I get opportunity to come to your screens. And I'm so glad that I had one of the guys, in fact, the world's tech giant in my studio. This guy is a whole package, you know. And this is where we draw today's curtains on Broad Daylight. My name is Priscilla. Don't forget to log on to our social media handles. Facebook is CMGTV, YouTube is CMGTV, Twitter at CMGTV, and Instagram on CMGTV. Our website is also www.cmonline.com.gh. Until another wonderful episode of this beautiful show. Bye.